Thank you, Yolanda. Excuse me. Thank you, Yolanda Williams, for bringing your comments to the task force.
Good evening, task force. I feel like I spent 6 months of my life working here, coming every day after work, I work 40 hours. I never called in sick during the pandemic. I work in public health. And I came to engage in this process, and I engaged my community. And I thought if I did, there would be a fair process, but there wasn't today. And you guys, I don't know, you can't admit to your racism. I just want to say, I came back here, I moved back here just so I could work on the community. I own a house out in South San Francisco. And I just want to tell you that that by you marginalizing our voices, we'll just be invisible here. You talk about Asian hate, you have no idea. You've never been enslaved. Have you ever been a slave? No. You talk about the Asian hate, which I agree is bad, but it's nothing like what Black people have gone through. And we built this city, and now we're being pushed out. You should be ashamed of yourselves. And like Brenda Barrow said, if you run for office, we're going to make sure you don't. And I'm going to make it my business to make sure each and every one of you are on the newspaper Monday morning. And we're going to do a march. We're going to march because you guys brought city government down, because you guys had a fix-in. You're corrupt. I don't care what you say. This whole process was corrupt. And shame on San Francisco.
Thank you, Cheryl Thornton, for sharing your comments with the task force. Could we have the next speaker, please?
Task force members, I kind of know what it's like to be in your shoes. I've been there before. I'm sick at heart right now. I know what it's like to be in your shoes. I know more what it's like to be in Jeremy Lee's shoes, Michelle Pierce's shoes, Raynell Cooper's shoes, and who am I forgetting? And Chema's shoes. I was on the Board of Supervisors when there was an effort to get Ed Lee to be appointed interim mayor of San Francisco. The only problem was that Ed Lee hadn't given his public consent that that's what he wanted. I had talked to Ed Lee before. We had a vote at the Board of Supervisors, and he told me he did not want the job. He wanted to retire, and he wanted to spend time with his family. So when Ed Lee died, I wept, knowing just how much of his life he lost by that decision. The Board of Supervisors was poised to actually appoint him to be mayor of San Francisco because there was a fix that was in. They were poised